don't we try to do a little parlay with some of the quarterfinals?
Okay.
Right now, let's see what we can agree on in terms of the quarters and teams to qualify, I guess.
Yeah.
Just for fun, I don't know if it's an option. Can we make a bet on who makes the finals, what the final score would be? Just so it's like a really stupid odds. Is it like if we wanted to say like Germany was going to play England and Germany wins 3-1 in the finals? Is that something where we can pick that, or we can't pick?
I think that's called Elon Musk for a bet like that.
I think that's too particular. But you can reach out to the books and see, and they'll give you like stupid odds.
See if he's available.
Yeah, I'm
it's more of a Michael Blurry type thing. You just you go and have a sit down with a bookie, and you basically create a scenario.
I think I'm a little
which
too
may appeal.
It's a problem. No? It's not good. What I can do is light some money on fire right now, actually, while we're doing this, just for fun.
It just as effective.
It actually would be. It would work.
Yeah, I don't have
in reality. All right. So, Jerry, you got some odds in front of you. Okay. So let's just go by this one by one.
Yeah, I'll run through the games. And sorry, you let me know. But what we're gonna do, like you mentioned, instead of the odds for the straight match, we'll do to qualify because.
I think rather than playing the 90-minute game, the way these teams are playing, any of these games could be tied at the end of 90 minutes. So let's go for it to qualify. Let's start with Spain and Germany. What are the odds there?
Damn it! I have to
imagine.
Okay.
Okay, we can start with Copa.
Spain to qualify is so again, this is gonna be a close match. So -112 and Germany -108.
Wow, so Germany's technically the underdog there.
Germany is the underdog. Yeah, I think Spain has looked probably the best in the tournament so far, so it doesn't surprise me too much. I'll let you guys pick because I have both of these teams in my pool. So.
I'd be happy with either. I mean, if we're just looking at it as a pure matchup here, I think Spain just looks so solid throughout the whole tournament. They won all 4 matches so far. They conceded 1 goal, and that was an own goal, I believe.
Yeah.
So stellar defensively. I think that they can probably frustrate the Germans a bit in terms of just building up any sort of offensive push. It's just, how loud would that crowd be? How much of a factor will that play? Will that play a factor in close calls? Those are things that slightly tilted to Germany's way, in my opinion. But I think if you're comparing them just the way they've played the tournament so far and the quality of the teams, I'd give Spain the edge there. So I would probably take them in this matchup. Dom?
My limited experience in European football. Honestly, my thing, I think will have more than likely Spain has not had, Spain facing Italy. It was like facing a bunch of 13-year-old boys. They were rough. That team did not play. Spain didn't have the competition that other teams have had. And Germany at home, I just think that they're gonna put on a show. I don't know. I feel like that's something, especially against Spain too. Like these guys they're gonna play hard. So I would lean more towards Germany personally. So I guess maybe the deciding factor, seeing as Jared has kind of both teams, maybe Jay is the one that kind of breaks the tie on that piece to go with this bet.
Yeah, listen, I'm a huge fan of Germany. I like everything they bring to the table. I root for them. Every time they're in the Euro.
I'm hoping not the history of Germany. It's just
no.
Their pride as a country.
They're very careful.
Yes.
We specify that because
as far as the soccer club, it's a soccer club that I've been following for a very long time. I've liked always what they've been able to produce. As a young child, I grew up a big fan of Balak. And what he was able to do for the national team. I really, really, really want to say Germany, but I just don't think they have the skill that Spain has really shown in this tournament. And for that reason, I think Spain will outpower them. I think it could very much go right down to the wire. I'm not saying Spain's going to blow them out by any means, but I don't see this game ending up in Germany's hands. I think Spain's got to be the winner.
Now, to be clear, though, you are glad the wall is down in Berlin, right?
Yes. Okay. Cheered. I cheered. I was 4 years old cheering.
I do like that. Okay, so I guess we're leaning Spain in this one. However, I think we should only add to the parlay the games where we're all in consensus.
Yes.
So we'll just put this to the side for now. And we'll move on to Portugal and France. And, I'll give you my take on it. France hasn't looked great, but they've only conceded a goal, a penalty shot. If they can get their offense kind of clicking, if Mbappe can get that mask to work for him one way or another, I think they can probably get this going. They've won tournaments like this playing this style of football before. It's not very exciting. It's boring. It's not very endearing, but for them, it's been very effective. And it can probably still be effective even when they're not scoring to some degree. So they definitely have a chance. I wouldn't bet against them. Portugal has a really impressive squad, but they've kind of stumbled here. I think France has probably still been a little more consistent. And Ronaldo's kind of a distraction off the field. His antics, his place within this whole hierarchy, should he come off the bench, he probably helped them more that way. Can his ego take that kind of thing? I'm definitely going to go with France here. But I guess I didn't ask you, what are the odds for this one?
So France is a pretty significant favorite, minus 152. Portugal plus 124 to qualify.
Mm-hmm. So I'm rolling with the minus 152, I guess, for the French to qualify. JJ, what do you think?
This sucks because it was a stranglehold into picking Portugal, I think, in the draft.
Mm-hmm. A lot on the line in that draft.
Yeah. Betting against them at this particular moment in time is very, very difficult. I did watch some France games, some parts of their game, and nothing what I'm used to seeing. I think Portugal can really put some much needed pressure on that French defense, and I think maybe just sticking to the guns and choosing Portugal in this one might be the one where it pays off. It could be the sleeper surprise. I think we haven't seen a lot from what some of their strikers can do outside of Ronaldo. And maybe if they play a little bit of a different system where Ronaldo isn't the key in the game, it could open up some chances for some other players, leading to some solid opportunities. So I'm going to go
very well said.
Portugal.
Very well said. So we got one France, one Portugal. That'll negate our parlay, but let's hear from Dom.
If you could put up on the screen the famous screenshot of our friend Ronaldo, there you go. He will be doing the same thing, but not with a victory. It will be a loss. And they will
weeping.
Weeping. I just can't again. I have
been the crying.
It's what are you gonna do? Poor guy, he missed a penalty shot. I know it's hard paying all that money and not missing. What are you gonna do? But I can't. It's one of those things.
He sold out. Good for him.
I still think France has such a strong team there, and they haven't even scratched the surface of this tournament. So I go with France with this one for sure.
Okay, France. 2 for France, 1 for Portugal. Now, I purposely left G to the end here to build the drama so we can understand if he's sticking to his guns of Portugal being kicked out early or if he's changed his ways.
If this is solely based on food, France is already the winner. By the way, I heard that was based on the cuisine. So, but
that always.
Well, let's G can kind of give us the breakdown there, I think.
Yeah, definitely leans heavily into my decisions. Without a doubt, France has much better cuisine. And I know the history this podcast does show.
You guys don't like chicken?
My certain bias.
Portuguese fish. I mean,
Hey,
I love Portuguese fish.
just butterfly it and throw it on the barbecue.
I just think it's limited. I think there's a limited menu on the greatest hits of Portuguese cuisine. That's all.
On like a duck confit, or you got to go with the duck confit.
You're talking about history. You're talking about history. Okay,
Don't get him going.
we started.
What did the French do? Didn't they just give the U.S. a bunch of money and never got paid back?
Man, this is getting ugly. The gloves are coming off.
The French supported the civil war against in the U.S. or Revolutionary War.
We were talking duck confit a second ago. I don't know where this is going.
I don't
know. But what were they feeding the troops?
At some points, it's too late for me.
What?
I fear where this conversation ends up in 10 minutes when we do England, Switzerland.
Hopefully, this takes some of the heat off of me from my last comments. But yes, again, I guess I didn't pick the correct games, but losing to Georgia 2-0 in the group stages, I think it just left a sour taste in my mouth, especially because my biggest lean was on Portugal to win the group and Georgia to finish last, which did not pan out. So I have a little bit of a bitter edge and taste that is carrying through. Again, on paper, these are both fantastic teams. On paper, these were both two of the heavyweights to compete for the final. And both teams, unfortunately, have not performed to quality. And I understand that France is the heavier favorite in this match. The odds on to win the entire Euro, France is twice as likely. So I think it was like plus 440 to like plus 850 for Portugal, which is pretty significant, especially if you look on paper and if you look at the way that they performed. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Outside of Costa, again, they probably should have lost that game. I know Ronaldo missed, but Slovenia had that chance at the end. So I don't know. These are both underperforming teams. I'm disappointed in both their play so far. I think, again, to kind of, kick my last comment, I think, Portugal, just from a value point of view, I would rather lay my money there because both right now it's a toss-up. The way that they've played, it's a toss-up. So I think value-wise, I would lean Portugal. I know we were already split on the decision, so it wasn't going to make our parlay. And the political history of France bucked the decision even further. So,
absolutely.
I think we'll leave this one off the sheet.
No, but like in all seriousness, I had higher hopes for the French.
Both
from what I saw, from like a possession game, any passing, any offensive opportunities, I just didn't see any of them. And then
maybe it's Mbappe's mask. I don't know. Like there's something going on.
Look, there could be something to that, to just like his performance, but in general, there's definitely something lacking. But it also lends itself to that style. Them and England play a very similar style where their skill is so much superior. They figure they can just outpossess these teams, and eventually they'll end up with a very easy tap-in opportunity. These teams are learning to play against that, and so it's not really working. But I think the one thing with the reason for the difference in those odds and in terms of to win the whole tournament is just France's, Portugal's obviously won this tournament before, but France has like really been here before. They can struggle and still pull out. They can, I think people just, the way both teams are playing, France can still kind of win this way. It won't be looking great. It won't be, it won't be a great show, but I don't know. I think it's also the fact that they haven't really conceded a goal in play. That's still got to factor in here. Maybe Portugal can. But
they had no choice. They've had no choice, not scoring either, right?
No, of course. But that they basically play to try to win 1-0 games. So in some way, it's kind of going still according to plan, but they just haven't looked their best. Their possessions haven't looked as good as they typically do. Time will tell. This was supposed to be my final.
Is it one of those things where it's possible that like Portugal's just passing, crosses, all of that have been far more superior than most teams? Even
it could be that French defense will be. It's not going to be an easy thing to break down, and for Portugal, who even in the games they've won, there was periods of time where they struggled to offensively break the other team down. It's not going to get any easier against France either, but I mean, they do have the firepower. They could put them away, and look, if Portugal gets out to a lead, they might be able to hold it. But at that point, also France would be, we'll have to put the foot to the floor and throw everything at them. So it'll be interesting. I think the most interesting game we get out of this is if Portugal goes up early. It'll actually force France to play at a top level, and we'd get a great game. If this thing's 0-0 at half, it's probably gonna either end a boring 1-0 game or even go to shootout. So,
and that's the thing. If it does go to penalties, which I could very likely see.
Possible.
So far, just from Costa, I mean, I think Portugal has the advantage there, and that's why I just think for the value, like plus 152. I might do a little dabble. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
plus 152 or minus 152?
No, they're plus.
They're the underdog right now. I think the only thing that then we probably have an agreement, and I guess we can confirm that now, is that he will cry. Ronaldo will cry once again, whether they win or lose.
Is there an opportunity to bet?
Listen, I guess we can take that offline
somewhere.
If there's a bet, it's probably going to be with some very sketchy bookie at that point, because I don't think any actual online platforms will offer that. But that is definitely a bet to make. He will cry, whether they win or lose. So
you'd be surprised. I think we'll check back day of the game.
That would be wonderful.
Look, I don't know about anything in Ontario, but offshore, I'm sure we can make this thing happen.
That's the one piece that we add that in.
If I have the opportunity, I'd put down, just because I think there's an opportunity for him to cry twice, two separate occasions. I'd put down a 2-time cry with a Portugal.
Parlay that up.
Cry early on, and then if Portugal wins, he will cry once more at least. So 2 cry with a Portugal win. I'll take that any day. Who wants to take that bet?
Beautiful. We'll throw that on the parlay sheet. Let's move on to the next one here. We got the Netherlands versus Turkey. G, give us the skinny. What are the odds for that game?
All right. Sorry, I was looking for the cry parlay, but all right. So Netherlands versus Turkey. I think this might be the biggest favorite on the board, with Netherlands at minus 385 to qualify. Turkey at a plus 290. Yeah, there you go.
Turkey plus 290. What was the Netherlands to qualify?
Minus 385. Minus 385.
I mean, I got Netherlands definitely going through here. They've been up and down, but they're picking up steam. Their fans also seem to be taking over the country there. That won't hurt them. I don't know. Turkey's also been very up and down, but you really Netherlands seems to be trending in the right direction. Turkey, it's kind of, you don't know who's going to show up. So for Netherlands, there isn't really enough of a value play for me there, but I wouldn't take Turkey to win just because I think it's very unlikely. Is there a prop for maybe Netherlands scoring more than 2 or more goals, or something to that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me a second to pull it up.
Dom, what do you think's going to happen in this game while G pulls that up?
I'd say the same. I think Netherlands at least 2-0. They're going to win 2+. And okay. Famke Janssen is also it's a Netherlands. She's from the Netherlands. So good old Famke Janssen and Vincent van Gogh. They got to go for it at this point. I'm just looking at random people because I have no idea who's playing. I haven't watched Netherlands soccer.
Got to go with the orange.
100%. But I'd say +2 for them for sure.
JJ, thoughts on
honestly, you put Netherlands players in wooden clogs, and they'll still probably win. I'm going to
That sounds like a challenge.
Wooden clogs and all, wooden cleats. You put anything wooden on their feet, and they'll still win the game.
They're a rough
Right.
game of soccer.
It'll be a rough game.
We're finally.
I feel bad for the ball and for the Turkish player shins.
Okay, so I think we got the Dutch here. It's not worth much straight up, but G, do you have anything?
Yeah, plus
Anything
2
tempting?
or something.
So home. I think they're considered the home team in this game.
Mhm.
You were saying 2.5 goals, over 2.5 goals.
I mean, what is it over 1.5 first?
I'd say 1.5 is safe for you.
Compare the two, because I could definitely see this being a 2-0 win or 2-1 even.
So it's not really tempting. 1.5 over 1.5 is -160. So quite a bit of juice with 2 goals, and then 2.5 is +220. I could see 2 goals easy as well, but again, I don't know that at -160 if that's even that tempting, to be honest. Especially,
Not the worst thing yet.
it isn't. The thing that I will say, and I think it's very easy to put Netherlands through. Turkey played a very chaotic, in a good way, game against Austria, against a team that, from the matches that I've seen, they were one of the best teams play-wise in the group stages anyways, was Austria. And they just poured it on them. It was just like, again, if Netherlands can counter at all, they can easily put 3 or 4 behind them. But it was just such they're playing to win. They're playing like they're not holding anything back. So it could either be a 4-0 game for Netherlands, or I could see a sneaky 2-1 win for Turkey if they pull some sort of magic again.
I don't hate that, and I'll tell you, you said chaotic, and I think that's a good way of describing them, because but they really were chaotic, and it worked for the best of them. I think also in parts of this tournament and even before it, their style of play, it also gets them exposed sometimes on the back end, and it'll leave them open to more goals. But I think this just starts supporting our theory more and more here. So why don't we look at what the total goals for the game is at over 2.5? Because that score of 2-1, you're saying, I think that could go either way. This could also be a 3-2 game. Like with what you're saying, if this is going to be a wild and chaotic game, it could very well, if you get a couple goals in the first half, it could also swing that way. So over 2.5, what's that number looking like?
Yeah, so over 2.5, you're at -134. But again, I agree. I think you could easily see a 3-1 game here. Over 3.5 goals is +196, which isn't too shabby at all. I do expect chaos in this game. I think Turkey knows that they can't just sit back against Netherlands, so they're just going to probably just let them have it, open themselves up, and against a very what's the word? Not patient, but a very no, it's too late. So we're going to go with patient.
I think the Netherlands. I think the word maybe is even structured.
Yeah, structured, patient. The fact that they'll be able to probably hold, even if Turkey sneaks one through, they're going to counter and they're going to just probably lay it on.
I mean, I think, and the other one comparable is the Netherlands had that game against Austria in their group stage, lost 3-2. I think it could very much be that type of pace of game where it's back and forth that either team could win. So I'm leaning towards the over the 2.5 at -134. I think that's good value. +196 is tempting for the 4 or more goals, but I think for a parlay, to add to a parlay, maybe the safer play at the
I like that.
2.5.
I like that.
Jay, what do you think?
I definitely think so, but not for probably the same reasons you guys are thinking. I think the Netherlands are going to really take it to them. I could see the Netherlands scoring 3 goals.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
very easily. I don't even think that Austria game is a difference maker. I don't think that showcases either Turkey or the Netherlands' abilities. I think it's just one of those freakish kind of games the way they happened. I think the Netherlands are going to really just kind of just take it to them. Truthfully, if you guys are right about their playing style, then the Netherlands can hunker down, play solid defense, and they can expose you very quickly. And I think that could easily turn around and be a ball in the back of the net.
All right. So, but we're steady rolling with the over 2.5.
I like it.
Dom, do we lock that in? Are we locking it in?
Lock it in at this point. I'm looking at all these different people and these names, and I can't pronounce them all. But Gagpol, maybe Gagpol scored 2 goals at this point. He seems like he's a stud. I have no clue, but I think the same thing. I think Netherlands can score 3 goals easily in this game, so I'm good with that.
Beautiful. Moving on to the battle for the land. England, Switzerland. Who holds on to the land title? Swiss dominated Italy 2-0 last time out. Could do the same thing against a slouching English side, in my opinion. The English squad is just much more talented, but also more boring and seem to be stumbling through the tournament. I really don't know what to think here. I think it's a toss-up. It could really go either way. I'm impressed with how Switzerland played. I think England also has to deal with they have to deal with the noise back home, the press. There's a lot of pressure on this team, and they don't seem to answer it in the best of ways. I think Southgate, I don't know, he said he was really glad they won that last one. He just feels like he's waiting to get fired anyway. I don't know why he's trying to, if he wants to prolong it that much, if making it further will help. But look, I think they are the more talented squad here, but for some reason, something's telling me to go with the team that's looked better more recently. So I'm going to go with Switzerland. What do you think, JJ?
Yeah, for the same reasons I didn't choose them in the draft and I chose Netherlands, I don't think they actually have a chance against England. I think matchup-wise, I believe England is just simply a better team. Don't get me wrong. Again, going back to my Italian heritage, that game wasn't Switzerland, playing top-tier soccer. That game was a poor Italian squad, not being able to execute passes, crosses, and really not being able to compete against the simplicity of the Swiss game, which was just speed. And to me, I think England is the better team. I got to go with that angry Kane. I just think England's a way better passing team, and I think that's going to be the difference maker. Because if they're quicker and with their passes and better execution on their passes, that could really, really expose the Swiss's aggressive nature and or defensive approach. So
you're going England 100%.
I'm going England. Yeah.
Okay. I definitely wouldn't dismiss the Swiss performance against Italy. This might not be the best form Italy's ever been in, but that's still a really good squad, and Switzerland took it to them. And to be honest with you, they controlled the game.
So did every team, though, if you think about it.
No, Spain definitely took it to them. I don't think Croatia necessarily did. I think Albania scored a quick goal, and after that fell back. So I don't know. I don't agree. I was really impressed with the effort the Swiss team put forward, and they were able to control play when they wanted to. And once Italy really needed to get desperate, they had some momentum near the end, but that Swiss defense was just too much, I think, for them to handle. And I don't know. Unless England can find a way to puncture them early, this will likely be a low-scoring game. But yeah, I don't know if England can get it done. Dom, what are you thinking?
This is tough for me because I actually picked England in the draft we had. But this one is one of those games where I feel like it's going to go right down to the wire too, because the way Switzerland played, I think, was just they were a dangerous team and they played with a lot of determination. If they can play the way they played against Italy, I think they end up taking out England. So that's why I feel like this is a weird one. I feel this is going to go to extra time, and I feel like this is going to be decided by whoever gets that last chance, lucky bounce to win the game, because Switzerland's just played so skilled and I don't know, it's been really very, very disciplined style of soccer, whereas England has not performed. They should have lost that game, and I just don't feel like they have what it takes to get to the next round. So this is for me a coin flip. So I leave this really up to G to solve this piece. But this is one of them. I just don't like this game. This is one of those games. That's why even picking England threw me off. So I pass this one on. I feel like if anything, I feel this will be like under 3 goals. I think this is going to be a low scoring affair. But I just don't like. I don't know. Both teams scare me. I feel like Switzerland can pull it off, but England, if they actually wake up, Angry Kane can come out and pull it off. So I don't like this one.
Angry Kane equals a kick in the groin for the defender. Be careful. Be careful at all times. G, let us know the deciding vote for this one, and also what kind of odds you're seeing for it. What's tempting?
Yeah, so let's do a little recap of the odds here. So England, in my opinion, surprising favorite and heavy favorite at -176. With Switzerland at +142 to qualify to the next round, also leading into my pick. And to, touch on all your points, I think Mother England, the pressure is mounting. On paper, they're a stout squad. I think odds on favorite to win the entire tournament. They're still odds on favorite to win the tournament, but they have looked stank. They should have lost to Slovakia. They should have lost to Slovenia in back-to-back games. And Switzerland has been one of the best teams on the pitch so far in this tournament. They were great against Germany. They had a slow start, I guess, against Scotland. But that Germany game, they looked fantastic. They put on a clinic against Italy. Italy didn't stand a fucking chance. And they looked great. And I think they're going to carry that momentum into this game. I think England's counting their lucky stars because, again, they should not be in this round. They scored in the 95th minute to put it into extra time. And I think against a stout team like Switzerland, they're going to be in trouble. Again, on paper, they are the better team. They just have not played to that level. And you know what? If they were even odds, maybe, it would split my decision a little bit more, but I would never take England at -176. That is absolutely ludicrous. If I were putting my money anywhere, and again, England can definitely win, but if I were putting my money anywhere, I love +142 with Switzerland. Give me that Swiss cheese all day.
Swiss cheese all day. So that's 2 for Switzerland. That's 1 for England and 1 neutral. So we'll be that one's a wash, I guess, for us. So let's move on to Copa, and let's hopefully add something to our magical parlay of 1 right now. So we'll be starting with Argentina, Ecuador. Argentina owns the head-to-head on this. Obviously, one of the best nations in the world. One of the best nations at this tournament, the odds-on favorite to win it all. They should easily handle Ecuador. The one thing I'll say for Ecuador is they came out fiery. They beat Jamaica, tied Mexico, but they'll likely be overwhelmed by a world giant, and they did not finish the top of their group, and hence they'll be facing Argentina as a result. I got Argentina clearly winning this one. G, what are the odds for this game? I imagine Argentina an extremely heavy favorite, not worth betting on likely.
You said it. Yeah, at -590. It is. I think the books are really trying to sway you away from that pick. Heavy juice, probably not worth it. if you were to maybe look at something in this match, these Copa games have been entertaining. Like I love having both tournaments going on simultaneously, but these Copa games, these teams play with an edge, and the referees let them go. And if I were to look at anything, maybe look at cards.
I was going to say the same thing. I was looking just to see, and like if there's an over/under on like 4 cards, that'd be a wonderful bet to make.
Yeah, so over 4.5 cards, which I can easily see, especially if Ecuador goes down early, they are going to really start playing cleats up. Over 4.5 cards, plus 110. I don't have anything on fouls, but I think closer to there will probably be a few more options for fouls. Or if you just wanted to look at Ecuador, I believe they're the away team. Over 3.5 cards. I could see over 3.5 cards plus 230.
But you might as well go the 4.5 for the whole game, right?
4.5 for the whole game. Yeah. A plus money, that's not bad. I mean, I can easily see 3 or 4 yellows on just Ecuador's side alone. But that's if you're looking for some value. Minus 590 for Argentina to go through. I don't even think it's worth adding to a parlay.
No, so what is the 4.5 cards worth? 1 plus 1.
So 4.5 cards is plus 110.
110. Okay, I actually like that as a play. Dom?
No, I agree. If it was that, and then a plus 2 or plus 2.5 on Argentina, I think Argentina blows them out. But
Jay? JJ?
Yeah. I'm going Argentina.
Well, yeah, I think Argentina, we are going. How do you feel about the over 4.5 cards in the game at plus 110?
Oh, we're still on those cards. I thought we were all in agreement. I like the idea of the 4.5 cards.
Yeah,
I like violence. I think the Ecuadorians are going to have no choice but to try to take out some kneecaps. So
okay, so there we go. We now have a 2-leg parlay as we are adding the over 2.5 goals in the Netherlands-Turkey game to the over 4.5 cards in the Argentina-Ecuador game. Next game.
For fun, is there anything to add with like Messi getting an assist and maybe a goal or something just to kind of go full on degen?
We can, yes, we can.
For Messi for an anytime goal scorer, he's at plus 120. For anytime assist, he's at plus 200.
I feel like he's good for at least one of those or both. But again, that's me being.
I think I'd probably lean towards the assist more.
You can do.
I agree.
You can do score or assist at lesser odds, minus 155.
That might be cool with the cards and that bet too. It's up to you.
I like it. Score or assist. Yeah, I mean,
minus 155
plus the with the cards, right? So it brings up the odds there. I think that's a nice little parlay.
We'll have those two for those in the same game parlay. So now we have a 3-legged bet. And we will move on to the game close to our hearts. Venezuela versus Canada. Gee, what are the odds to qualify for both those countries?
All right, so Venezuela and Canada should be an entertaining match. To qualify, it's pretty close. For the dog, Canada is at plus 100 and minus 122 for Venezuela.
Okay. So Venezuela, the slight favorite there.
That's correct.
See, for my money, I definitely go Canada. Move on there. I think this one's going to be a toss-up. I think the knock on Canada is that they've benefited so far from 2 red cards. One of them led to a win. The other one they had to force a draw out of. So you can make whatever conclusions from that you want. I'll tell you this much: Venezuela definitely benefited from a red card as well, right at the beginning of their tournament. Got them off to a nice roll against an Ecuadorian side. To that point, that looked like that really was going to take it to them until they were a man down. So I think in that way, those kind of wash each other away. If Canada can get after them, if they can come out with the right amount of energy and also keep their heads level, not take any unnecessary fouls, not take any unnecessary cards. I think I'm going to go with Canada on this one, and since they're paying a little better, even more so. Dom, what are your thoughts?
Canada, extra time. I feel like they can pull it off. I think it'll be a 2-1 in extra time. So
Okay.
good luck to them. I'm being positive and being patriotic. Let's do it.
So I think
can you do a tie in regulation then? Like a
I
regulation?
don't know if there is any extra time. Isn't that what?
Yeah, so I believe in the Copa for this year, much like they did in 2016 for the Centuro, it is a shootout right after the 90 minutes. Unless I just believe the final is different. I think the final you do have extra time, but in the knockout stages, yes, there is a shootout. So but that means you can bet 90, a tie after 90, but that you're just betting it's going to go to a shootout right away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the worst bet, but I think if Canada's giving you kind of straight up value just to qualify, I probably prefer that as the
I still think they win at the end of the day, so I'm good with Canada to win the game.
Okay. Jay, if you had to pick Venezuela, Canada, move on, what are you going with here?
You know what? I gotta go Canada. Why not? Right? I'm no specialist. I don't know. I can probably even name a single player on the team, but I couldn't name a Venezuelan player. And although our inflation is nowhere near the heights of Venezuela, we're on our way there. So let's go Canada. The higher up we go, the better it is.
All righty. To the moon and beyond. So I guess we're all in consensus here. Canada. G, what do you got? You're going Canada?
Yeah, I do like Canada. This might be a separate little tickle that I might look at afterwards.
Tickly.
But to Dom's point, I could see this going into penalties 0-0. And for under a goal before shootout, you're looking at plus 680. So I like that little tasty cake, and I might venture on it maybe separately. Maybe we do a little parlay afterwards. Again, Stoff mentioned the generation of our group, so there you go. Plus 680.
Plus 680 on that. And what was it? Plus 100 for them to win?
Plus 100 for them to win. Which I am adding as our fourth leg.
Wonderful, yes. And then our secret play of the day is Venezuela versus Canada under 0.5 for the plus 680. And that indeed is our
Smooth Jimmy's lock of the week.
Boys. Two more matchups to go here. We'll run through them. On the other side of the bracket, you got Uruguay versus Brazil. So for a little context, Uruguay beat Brazil in World Cup qualifying last year 2-0, and they've looked in proper form so far in the tournament. They sweep their group in rather dominant fashion. And Brazil hasn't really looked themselves. I believe they're sixth in the entire continent in World Cup qualifying as it is. So they're kind of ripe for the picking. I'm going to go with Uruguay here. They've looked the best team outside of Argentina, at least at the tournament. So Brazil doesn't scare me that much, but it could, I guess, go either way. G, what are the odds there? Which way are you leaning?
Yeah, so Uruguay is the slight dog at minus 106 to Brazil's minus 114. So pretty cool. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is close to a pick 'em, closer to game time. I agreed. Brazil just has not looked great. I think to our previous episode with Luca. Hopefully, he's recovering from that duck feeding accident. He mentioned how Brazil just has no creativity. Like they don't have a lot of players that can really spice things up, and it has kind of shown. You know what? Colombia had the better of them. Colombia was the better team in that match, and I think Colombia probably could have easily won. And Uruguay's looked fantastic. So I would lean Uruguay.
Okay, so that's 2 on the Uruguayan train. JJ, how are we looking?
I'm on the Uruguayan train as well. And that train left Brazil a long time ago. Uruguay all the way. I really like it. I'm going to stick with very similar Argentinian flag colors. Go down that route. I like Uruguay. I actually think they're a really good team. Not just in the Copa, but globally. I really like them as a team. So definitely, I like that pick. Brazil, obviously, very talented. But the fight passion of the Uruguayans, definitely the way to go.
Okay, so that's 3 for Uruguay. Dom, do we have a sweep?
I picked Brazil with my second pick in the draft, and I regret it deeply. But at the end of the day, I will go with the consensus pick at this point.
Ooh.
I also feel like there will probably be a lot of goals scored in this game. I feel like they can go back and forth. So I think over 2.5 in goals is probably the safer bet, because I feel like it can go either way at that point. But I will go with you guys at this point. Again, I'm thinking of soccer back when I used to watch it 15 years ago. They were a great team, Brazil. Now I don't think they have anyone that actually is popular or good, but it's okay. I'm going to lose this draft that we had, but I like the Uruguay pick, and I think that it'll definitely be over 2.5 to 3 goals scored in this game.
All right, so we can lock in the Uruguay. Was that 118 you said, Jared? Minus 118?
They are minus 106.
Okay, even better.
Minus 106 to win. The Dom's suggestion, if you're looking at the over 2.5 goals, the over is paying plus 138, which I don't mind either.
I like a 2-1 score for either team at this point. That's kind of...
You know what? I think I might like it better.
It's one of those things, because I feel like you can go either way, but I think it's going to be a 2-1 or a 3-1 score for either team. That's just how kind of impressive both these teams could be if they show up properly.
I mean, they could put the ball away. I don't know. What do you think? I like Uruguay. I just think Brazil, if they get it going, they could easily put 3 in the net. With the over bet, you kind of safe both sides. The thing that I find odd, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, so again, Brazil is favored in this game. However, if you look at any time goal scored on the Uruguay side, they have much lower odds. Like their first two, like Nunez or Suarez to score is plus 210, plus 250. For the guy on Brazil, it's plus 260. Like their odds are way higher to score for Brazil's side. So it looks like they're favoring the Uruguayan goal scorers, yet Brazil is still the favorite.
Yeah, I think it's also Brazil just has more guys who might be able to score. You know what I mean? Like their scoring just might spread around a little bit more.
Yeah. It's odd. The odds just don't even down to the 10th guy. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, but Brazil, they scored 4 goals in one game, and then outside of that, they scored 1 goal. So I'm just not super sold on them necessarily.
How about Uruguay?
Uruguay, hold on, let me just pull them up here. I mean, they beat the States 1-0 most recently. They did have that 5-0 drubbing of Bolivia, but everyone kind of beats up on Bolivia. Panama, they scored 3 goals against.
Excuse me.
No,
Forgot to mute myself.
No
I
worries.
want to edit that out.
No, it's staying in. That's raw footage. I mean,
Like it was coming.
Uruguay scored a bit, but I don't know. I think this one might be a little bit tighter. I'm not. If it was 1.5 goals, I'd be a lot more confident, but I'm not. I don't know. This could be a 1-1 game at the end with a shootout as well, too, right? And then it's going to.
What is 1.5 goals? Just for, I know it's probably not much.
Probably not going to be very enticing, but
minus 235.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is probably where it lands. These books are pretty good, but these lines.
How about Suarez biting someone? Is that something we can add in with Ronaldo crying at this point? A Suarez bite and a Ronaldo.
there's a parlay.
I think that's
plus 250. Plus 250 for 2 indents on the front queen eyes.
Tell me more.
You know what? I'm good with Uruguay. I still like them in this match.
Lock it in.
Even money. All right, let's lock.
All right, let's go Uruguay. So now we've got, to recap so far as we head into the last match, Uruguay minus 106, Canada plus 100, then over 4.5 cards in the Ecuador-Argentina match plus 110, plus a Messi goal or assist at minus 155, and then the over 2.5 goals in Netherlands and Turkey. So this is now a 5-leg prop. So let's just finish off with Colombia and Panama. G, what kind of odds are we looking at in this one? I'm assuming Colombia the favorite by some margin.
They are indeed, I think, the heaviest favorite in this Copa
Heavy.
round at minus 900 to qualify. So
Okay. So like Panama don't even bother showing up.
I think so. If you want over a goal, you're looking at minus 2,500. To get to any plus money, there you need 4 goals. So it's very
Well, so to that, Colombia did beat Panama in a friendly in 2019, but it was 3-0.
Yeah.
So that would have scored under, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Colombia to go through on this one. I would not put any money on to the parlay just because it's not adding much.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted them to win in regulation, which again, I think that's almost as good a bet if to qualify to the next round. It's minus 330. Again, not great, but it's a lot better than minus 900.
I'm not feeling it. JJ, your thoughts or any creative ideas on how to get around this dud of a match?
Yeah, I don't think that stands a chance. This is obviously a clear-cut win by Colombia. It's not worth even betting on Colombia scoring 3 or more goals. I think we got to steer away from this one. If you want to just add it to the leg, just to add it to the leg, you know, it may not even make a difference or be worth it. But yeah, it's I can't get creative. What are you going to do? You're going to pick, players to score multiple goals? Like, is that what we're looking at here potentially? And even then, I'm sure that that is very, very unlikely, and I don't think we can come to a consensus on who that individual will be on Colombia that will score 2 or more goals.
Right. Too much of a shot in the dark doing it that way, probably. Yeah. Dom, can you channel the spirit of Gambler?
I call him Gambler!
And help us out here.
Listen, again, unless these websites are going to offer both Shakira and Sofia Vergara being like on the field dancing, I still think Colombia is going to destroy them. So I would even put them at 2.5 at this point. But listen, it's not worth it at that point. We have a couple of safe bets. I know I'm a degenerate nut job, but keeping it consistent and clean with this bet, I think we're good with the consensus at this point. There's no reason to add that.
Just to recap for the people out there, we took the over 2.5 goals in the Netherlands-Turkey game. That was minus 134 odds. Moving to Copa America, we got Argentina versus Ecuador, over 4.5 cards in that one for plus 110, as well as a Messi goal or assist. That on its own worth minus 155. And then we got Venezuela versus Canada. Canada winning it to move on, plus 100, and also Uruguay moving on against Brazil, minus 106. So with those 5 legs, G, please tell us, what is our grand total?
Grand total on this 5-leg parlay is plus 2,544.
Beautiful.
544.
Pretty
So that is a pretty sexy pick.
I
On
like
a $100 bet, we're looking at 2,500. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Feel free to follow along. And don't forget of our secret play of the day in the Venezuela-Canada game. It is the under 0.5. We are betting on a 0-0 draw heading into the penalty kicks after 90, as they do in this tournament. That plays plus 680. You add all those up. Oh, baby, that's a lot of cash. And with that, thank you for tuning in, for listening, for following, for liking, for subscribing, all that good stuff. Big shout out to our guy on the mend, Luca. Keep those arms elevated. You'll get through it. And I'm sure we'll be back on, track our progress in this pool. We're going to have to see who won, who got how many points, and how they did it. So I'm sure you'll see our four faces again. Until then, drop us a comment, send us some mail, do whatever you gotta do. Till next time, TFL signing off.